What do weebs dream about? Worlds of their fancy. The worlds of their favorite animes and video games. Worlds of their waifus. Many of their dreams are worlds where they marry sue themselves in poorly thought out scenarios where they instantly befriend the heroes and have their waifus fall for them instantly. Weebs know that their dreams are dreams though. But what if there was a portal that could take one into the land of video games? One weeb found out that said portal exists, and he instantly devoted himself to finding the portal. After an extensive half-hour research, he found out the portal is much closer than he imagined. So he devoted the rest of his day digging to the portal. Little did he know that his information was laced with an ulterior motive. Little did he know the hell that was waiting for him.
Alright, where is he?
He's gone undercover ever since the prophecy. Good luck getting him out.
That lucky bitch. Oh well, this is happening now.
No! I've stumbled across a sulfur vein! I knew this was gonna happen! I can't breathe! Rolling in 3, 2...
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and those of you who know what the hell you're yet. Hopalong PR here. We are talking about a game that I actually love. It's called The Darkest Dungeon, and you have no idea what you're getting yourself into. Believe me.
So this game, Darkest Dungeon, is essentially what it would be like to play Dungeons & Dragons with a dungeon master who was A, way too serious, B, demented, C, spiteful, and D, probably not a human. Or, you know, a combination of all those. So let me give you the entire story and plot of the game. A family member, probably your irresponsible father, was tired of the decadent lifestyle of the wealthy and decided to sink your family's entire fortune to dig below your swanky mansion to find a portal to the Netherrealm. Because reasons. To your padre's luck, he actually finds the portal, and upon opening the portal, which was known to be full of terrible and awful things, things fly out and corrupt the land. Realizing his mistake, Padre sends you a message practically begging you to fix his mistake. And then he pusses out like a little bitch.
So, yeah, I don't know what drugs he was doing to think that any of that was a good idea. And there is a lot of lore in the game, and you can listen to it if you so choose to. But you can choose to skip it. It doesn't negatively impact you in any way. And I'm going to say that I love this game, but one thing really quick. Holy fuck. If you just jump into this game without doing any research, you are going to get fisted. Yeah, it's not fun for anybody. It's fucking disturbing.
Oh, let's make one thing clear. This game is challenging. Not hard, not impossible, and especially not unfair. Everything you need to know the battles, the random curios, the enemies, and your characters all have multiple ways to approach them and how you want to play the game. Starting with battles, you'll get to see both your hero's stats and the enemy's stats. And largely, the damage is based off of two things, the accuracy and damage modification attributes. From there, it's all a matter of buffing yourself up while debuffing and tearing down your enemies.
So you'd think with all that information out there that the game would be, you know, a little easier. But let's look at one thing. One thing that the game shows you at the beginning of the game before you start anything else. This informs you you're in for a challenge. It's not for little bitches.
So let me move on to some advice that I want to give everybody who plays this game. You'll encounter certain objects called curios that can be interacted with while you're exploring a dungeon. If you choose to interact with it in a normal fashion, there is a significant chance they will fuck you over. Pile of books, your hero will read a disturbing passage and will scar them for life. Find a dead body, your hero becomes diseased. Don't know what they're doing with the body. Dinner table. Your party will eat the food and be blighted. Coffin, you'll find out what killed the person when you get their disease. The list of curios goes on, but I shall not. Just know that with every curio you interact with, it can be specifically activated by using an item from your provisions that you buy just before heading out. Which goes to which? Well, that's up for you to find out. This game and that mechanic adds an interesting element to items, and they're scarce. You only have a finite amount of items, so you have to choose. Do you want to use them on the environment to get treasure, or do you want to save them for your heroes and bail them out?
So, believe it or not, I viewed each hero's health as a secondary concern. Their first concern was stress. I mean, how the fuck would you feel if you had to go through fields, caverns, coves, dungeons just filled with demons and darkness? Some days I can't even deal with people. I don't blame the characters for getting stressed at all.
Stress is a big gameplay mechanic. Each hero has a stress meter that ranges from 0 to 200, and the stress increases the more negative things happen. If a hero's stress level reaches 100, they'll start to act without direct orders, and will frequently spurn all healing and buffs that you give them. When a hero's stress reaches 200, they'll die of a heart attack. A heart attack.
So, remember how I said earlier that you can interact with certain items with certain, held inventory items? They'll prove to be helpful immensely as you progress through the dungeon, both in terms of things and of stress.
If you can figure out how to act with each item, with each curio, not only will you most likely receive some items, but it will often alleviate some stress. Another way to help your heroes alleviate stress is by using firewood to have a campfire. Food comes into play here. While you're exploring the dungeon, you get hungry and you have to feed your party, but when you get to camp, you can have the option to feed them more than just the regular amount, which will relieve a lot of stress. While in the campfire menu, you can heal, alleviate stress, and add a single or entire party buff. Each action at camp uses time, and you only have 12 hours. Considering the most common time per action is 3 hours, you have to decide how you want to proceed with your certain party. Ain't no camp like a party camp, because at the party camp, everyone's depressed and mostly dead inside.
So as you can imagine, people have compared this game to be the Dark Souls or Bloodborne of this type of genre. And it's kind of bullshit, to be honest. All of these games make you think, make you observe your observation, observe your enemies. Everything that you have to do, you have to think about. This isn't a game where you can just progress smoothly. You have to know exactly what you're doing. Basically, don't be a little bitch. That's all I gotta say. I mean, it can't be that hard.
The last thing I want to get to is, well, the darkness aspect of Darkest Dungeon. See, at all times in a dungeon, you'll have the light meter at the center top of the screen. As you might expect, the darker it gets, the harder it gets. The light and darkness have different effects for things called trinkets, which are essentially accessories, some of which will give you buffs if the light is a certain amount, and there are some that will give you buffs if it gets dark enough.
So yeah, if you like tactic games, turn-based games, or you just want to be brutally fucked by a game for a couple hours until you get used to it, I would highly recommend this game. So, without further ado, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Wait, what's going on? No. My blanket tunnel. I must have tripped across the portal, but it's not good. It's one of darkness, despair, and overall disappointment. We'll get to that next time, though. So thank you, everybody, for watching. If you have anything you want to say, just can't wait for me to rip into this fucker, whatever, let me know down in the comments below. And thank you for staying weird.